What's going on, everybody? Mando Trading here, and in this video I'm going to recap 2 trades that I took on Tuesday, August 22nd, with the main overarching idea behind them being that you can still be wrong, right, and end up making money. How is that so? How is that even possible? Well, of course you need to get the direction right, but in both of these trades, my ultimate destination for the trade did not come, but I was able to still secure some pretty nice profits on what was ultimately a pretty slow day, or slow morning, I should say. But, I think one skill that can be taken from this is that whatever time frame that you're trading off of, whether it's a 30-minute time frame, 5-minute, 15, 1 minute, whatever, time frame that you're looking at, I think people underestimate how much information one candle can give you. So I also, in this video, while I was doing it live, I was typing in little notes on the side and things that I was hoping for. So before we get into it, though, please, like the video, subscribe to the channel. I'll keep making these as long as people like them. So let's get into it here. All right, so this was post 2 o'clock, and you can see right here we're trading NASDAQ, QQQ, whatever you want to call it. So we're currently below midnight. I have my stop right below a previous swing low, and a day opening gap from a couple of days back. So let's see, I sped this thing up. Hopefully it starts to pick up a little bit and go faster. But off of this, right off the bat, my first target being take out that red box that's right above. I believe that was a 15-minute bearish imbalance right there. And as you can see, I wrote up there, low risk, high reward. Reason I wrote that is, as you can see, I'm risking very few points for a potential huge gain. As I was looking at the relative equal highs, about 100 points higher. So, and also something that's worth noting is that both of those red boxes I have right here, they are both have already been tested. So the first one has not been completely filled. The second one was. But as you can see on this candle here, you'll notice volume imbalance. I would want it to close higher. So when I see those gaps in price delivery, I want them to close just above that. To me, that shows urgency. As you can see, it's getting off now. It shows urgency to go in whichever direction that gap was formed in. So the next move here, I wanted a violent break, and there it is, boom. I wanted a violent break above that imbalance and up and close above midnight. So the 0-0 over there, that's the midnight hour. I take that into account. I think that's a pretty powerful level. So now I have that previous 15-minute imbalance, and that's what I want to be used as support. I don't think we get back to it, but just for reference. And I wanted a hold of midnight. So a close below midnight at that point, I would likely get stopped out. So I wanted to see that hold, obviously. And on the other side of my screen, I don't record both sides of the screen for clarity. Just the picture gets all pixelated and garbage. So but I have it on the other side. I'm looking at ES, and ES had hit resistance. It's starting to slow down just a little bit, so I like pairing them and looking at them both at the same time. There's a lot of clues that you could pick up from that. And we're currently in this bearish order block on the 5-minute. As you can see, I wrote want more violence. I wanted violence up and through that swing high, or that resistance level right there. That would give me a little bit more confidence that we would actually see continuation. So you see, I say breakaway gap would be so nice. Usually when you're going to make an explosive move, clearing a lot of area, you'd want to see breakaway gaps form. The second one being tested, oftentimes immediately retested to take off higher. What else did I have on here? Stop now, set below midnight. Wouldn't want it to. If you're looking for a market newsletter, check out mine, Markets with Mando. It's recently been featured on Benzinga, Webull, TOS. First month free using code August100. I'll put the link in the bio. Drop below there, which I think it did. And ultimately you'll see. But look at that first attempt right there, right off of midnight. So that's why I use that as a valuable level. I also wrote, if liquidity is taken, I'll be aggressive with stop and profit. So that's just the overall understanding and concept of liquidity. You can get one of two things. You can either get a snowball effect, or you get that run higher, and those people who had gone short at that area, their stop losses would be triggered as buys, so it could compound. Or on the flip side, you take out the liquidity or those stop losses for more orders to then come in and set a new swing high. So that would be my first little video right here. So now I got the second, and if I'm not mistaken, this is my second attempt at it. Yeah, this was my second attempt at it. So that was the first trade, and obviously I got stopped at. I let it kind of come back down to me, and now you'll notice I have that swing mapped out. We took out a couple highs in the process. So my model, as I would play it from low to high, I'd look for a retracement back down below 50%, ideally in an imbalance between the 0.62 and the 0.79 retracement levels, which we do in fact get. Right down here, my entry was a little bit higher, about 2 points higher, so not exactly amazing, but still, nonetheless, I got in, and we'll click this one to play. And again, look, even my stop is 7 points. I'm risking 140 for a potential. This was the first target, which would be about $600, and the ultimate goal would have been those relative equal highs, which you'll see in a second. But obviously we did not get there, so I was wrong in that we did not head for those relative equal highs until the next day. I ran out of time. This was about 3 o'clock. But now we're back at midnight. This is actually us working through a bearish imbalance right now, so oftentimes they do take some time to work it out. As you could see, I already moved my stop up below or above break even. Reason I do that is because when we're heading into a resistance level, whether I believe it's going to break or not, I'd rather protect myself and not get smoked on that, because then you look back later and you're like, well, okay, this makes sense. It rejected an obvious level. Why would I not have moved my stop? So I think that first trade netted about $700, something like that. So okay, obviously we reclaim midnight here. Another powerful move. From this point, I'm looking at that first 14,990, that swing high. I want that taken out, and I want that taken out pretty quickly, so that we can make that aggressive move higher for that next swing high. Yeah, you see low on time. I noticed 2 to 3 is much better for trading rather than that power hour that everybody talks about. I think power hour kind of stinks these days. So as you can see, there's your bullish imbalance, and as you can see, I just typed, want this to be a breakaway with no test. If I really want that explosive move higher, you're going to want 2 to form back to back, and the lower one to not get a sniff at all. So we're running up towards that most recent swing high there, and that's at 14,990, and there's your violent explosive move higher. And this is where things get a little bit more hairy, right? So we take out that high. Yep. Swing high tabbed. And we need ES to follow us. Close below that red box, I'm out. So what that means is NASDAQ took out the high, ES did not. So that's something we'd call SMT divergence, when they're not moving in unison together. Yes, sir, that's my breakaway gap, right? But But yeah, when they're not moving together, for example, NASDAQ takes a high, ES does not, oftentimes that'll lead to a little bit of a reversal and not that follow through that I wanted here. So ES was making its way, made its way above midnight, but it did not close just yet. And we still haven't closed outside that previous resistance level. And you're going to see me get much more aggressive with this stop. So I would want that resistance level to then act as my support on the other side. And you can see, could pull back, but I'd rather lock in and look for another reentry. What I would look for another reentry at this point would be that breakaway. That would be ideal. ES was flirting with it, but it refused. And you'll see we created 3 bullish imbalances in a row. As you can see, this contract's pushing up. It's getting nice. Almost touched 1,000 on that one run right there. And I just made sure at this point right here that if we're not going to use that previous resistance as a support level, I'm out. I locked in 40 points, which was good for $800. I'd prefer doing that than, especially late in the day, holding on and just hoping that something's going to work out in my favor. So, but yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Let's see. But yeah, anyways, I mean, look, I was wrong. Ultimately, we did not get those relative equal highs until the overnight session, which I wasn't going to be swinging contracts. But you could still make money by using the information that's available to you, the information that's coming to you in real time, or even those projections, which is fine. I had that target in mind, but knowing where your swing highs are, your swing lows are, where your liquidity is, knowing what happens or what can happen at points of liquidity is huge. Obviously being prepared, having those imbalances charted throughout so you know when price approaches to them. Those could be areas where, your long could run into some trouble or your short could find a bounce, right? So all of those little things, when they get combined, they create, something where you feel totally confident. And even if it doesn't work out, you have the ability to, kind of take actions into your own hand. Look, if the next candle here was to decide to shred higher, that's okay. That happens. But I made sure that I locked in 40 points on this thing, and that's perfectly fine with me. Like I said, later on in the day, look, if this exact move happened right at 2:00, maybe I would be a little less aggressive with my stop loss, but I wanted to make sure I locked it in with only an hour left of trading. I prefer not to play with fire. I've been burned before. I'm not trying to get burned anymore. So, so that's all. If you guys got any questions or anything, feel free to reach out. Again, please like and subscribe to the channel. I'll keep making these as long as you guys like them. And I will talk to everybody soon.